Listen up, fellow Stoics of the digital age. Have you ever felt that hot flash of anger that hijacks your entire day? A single frustrating comment or moment that spirals into hours of resentment? You know you should let it go, but you just can't. The feeling churns inside you, ruining your focus, straining your relationships, and stealing your peace. It feels like a hostile takeover of your own mind, where a furious stranger is left in control. What if you could stop that anger in its tracks? What if you had a 2,000-year-old toolkit built by a brilliant chap named Seneca to give you immediate control? In this video, we're breaking down 7 simple yet profoundly transformative Seneca strategies that can destroy anger instantly. And hey, stick with me, because the first strategy alone might just be the antidote to the chaos. Now, the wisdom we're about to explore isn't some fleeting modern fad. It comes from Lucius Annaeus Seneca, a Stoic philosopher who lived 2 millennia ago. He served as an advisor to the Emperor Nero and witnessed firsthand how unchecked anger could lead to ruin. In his powerful essay on anger, he didn't just condemn anger. He dissected it and laid out a clear system for dismantling it. For Seneca, anger wasn't a sign of strength, but a brief madness, a poison that harms the person who holds it far more than anyone else. Ironic, isn't it, that this ancient wisdom can guide our smartphone-filled, caffeine-driven lives? The Stoics believed the goal of life was to achieve a state of inner peace and unshakable tranquility, a state they called apatheia, or freedom from disturbing passions. They saw anger as the single greatest obstacle to this peace. But here's the empowering part. They saw it as a choice, a product of our judgments. And if it's a choice, we can learn to choose differently. Today, we're going to learn how. So, shall we dive in? Section 1. Strategy 1. Recognize anger's true cost. The first and most foundational strategy is to form a proper judgment about anger itself. Before you can fight it, you have to see it for what it truly is. Seneca urges us to stop making excuses for our anger and instead to repeatedly place before our eyes all anger's faults. Think about what anger truly costs you. It doesn't just feel bad, it dismantles your life. It's the architect of regretted words and broken relationships. It promises power but delivers only destruction. As the Stoics taught, anger does us far more harm than the things we're angry about. The person who insulted you might forget in 5 minutes, but you might carry that poison for 5 days. To put this into practice, become an accountant of your anger. The next time you feel that surge, turn your focus inward and observe its effects. Notice the tension in your body, the chaotic thoughts. Ask yourself, is this emotion serving me? Is it solving the problem? Or is it making everything worse? When you truly understand its destructive nature, your desire to indulge in it will begin to wither away. Section 2. Strategy 2. Aim for tranquility as your ultimate goal. The second strategy isn't about fighting, but about redirecting. The Stoics argue that we shouldn't just push away negative emotions. We must have a positive goal to move toward. For them, that ultimate goal was a state of serene tranquility and inner peace. As Seneca wrote, there is no more reliable proof of greatness than to be in a state where nothing can happen to make you disturbed. Imagine a life where your inner peace isn't dependent on external events. Imagine traffic jams or rude comments washing over you like water off a duck's back. This isn't a fantasy. It's the state of mind the Stoic sage relentlessly pursued. This reframes the entire battle. It's no longer about winning an argument. It's about winning your own peace. When someone cuts you off in traffic, the question becomes, is honking my horn and yelling going to bring me closer to tranquility or further away from it? The answer is always obvious. By making tranquility your North Star, you have a constant guiding principle. A calm mind is the ultimate prize, and it's a prize you must choose to protect. If these first two strategies are already resonating with you, and you're interested in building a life of greater emotional control and inner peace, go on and smack that subscribe button. What's the worst that could happen? You gain some wisdom. Join our community on this journey of self-mastery. Section 3. Strategy 3. The greatest cure. Just wait. This next strategy is perhaps the most famous and instantly effective tool in Seneca's arsenal. It is breathtakingly simple. Just wait. When you feel the initial spark of anger, do nothing. Create a delay. Seneca stated, "The greatest cure for anger is to wait." Anger is like a flash fire. It burns intensely, but quickly consumes its own fuel. Your initial, unreasoned reaction is the fuel. Your angry retorts, your vengeful actions, these are the logs you throw onto the fire. If you simply refuse to add fuel, the fire will die down on its own. Seneca understood that anger hijacks our reason. Trying to solve a problem while you're angry is like trying to perform surgery in the dark. You are almost guaranteed to do more harm than good. The only rational move is to wait for the fog to lift. Sit on that angry email for a day. Walk away from the heated conversation. The space you create with this delay is where your reason reemerges. It's in this pause that you regain the power to choose your response rather than being a slave to your reaction. Section 4. Strategy 4. See yourself in the offender. Strategy number 4 requires a powerful mental shift. When someone has wronged you, Seneca advises, let us put ourselves in the position of the man who is making us angry. In other words, see yourself in the person who has offended you. When we are angry, we create a simple drama in our minds. We are the flawless victims, and the other person is a villain. Stoicism asks us to shatter this false narrative. Ask yourself honestly, have I never made a thoughtless comment? Have I never acted out of stress or ignorance? To see the offender not as a monster but as a fellow flawed human is a powerful antidote to rage. Most of the time, people act out of ignorance, insecurity, or pain. As the Stoics believed, no one does wrong willingly. They simply mistake what is good. This doesn't excuse their behavior, but understanding it can dissolve your anger. It shifts your perspective from personal injury to a detached observation of the universal human condition, a fallibility you share. Section 5. Strategy 5. Heal rather than punish. The fifth strategy challenges one of anger's most fundamental drives, the desire for revenge. Anger screams for punishment. Seneca and the Stoics offer a more elevated path. Choose to heal rather than to punish. Engaging in the cycle of revenge only perpetuates the damage. It rarely brings the satisfaction it promises, and it always lowers you to the level of the person who wronged you. You damage your own character. The wise person seeks to mend, not to break. Think of an injustice as a wound. Anger's instinct is to strike back, but the path of wisdom is to focus on healing the original wound. To practice this, when you feel the desire for revenge, ask yourself a different question. Instead of, how can I get back at them? Ask, what would be the most healing and constructive response right now? What would a person of integrity do? By choosing to be a healer instead of a punisher, You elevate yourself above the fray and preserve the one thing you have total control over, your own character. Section 6. Strategy 6. Reframe your judgments. This sixth strategy cuts to the very root of Stoicism. It's not things that upset us, but our judgments about them. Your anger does not come from the external event. It comes from the story you tell yourself about the event. Picture this. Someone cuts you off in traffic. That is a neutral fact. The anger arises from your internal judgment. That person disrespected me. They are a selfish, terrible driver. It is this interpretation that sparks the rage. The power here is immense. It means that no one can make you angry without your consent. You cannot control other people's actions, but you have absolute control over your judgments about those actions. And that is where your freedom lies. To practice this, become a detective of your own thoughts. When you feel anger building, press pause and identify the judgment causing it. Challenge that story. Is it the only possible interpretation? Perhaps they were distracted. Perhaps they are in an emergency. By consciously choosing a less hostile interpretation, you loosen anger's grip. You take the power back from external events and place it firmly within your own rational mind. Section 7. Strategy 7. Use countermeasures. Kindness and humor. Our final strategy is one of active countermeasures. Instead of just resisting anger, Seneca advises us to actively cultivate its opposites, kindness and humor. Imagine someone insults you. The angry response is to insult them back. A humorous response, however, can completely disarm the situation. A witty or self-deprecating reply is far more effective than a furious comeback because it shows you are not hurt. It robs the attacker of the reaction they were seeking. Kindness works in a similar, powerful way. When someone acts with hostility, responding with unexpected kindness can shatter their frame of mind. This is not about being a doormat. It is a strategic move that demonstrates your emotional strength. You refuse to let their negativity become your negativity. As Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, our nature is to help one another. Kindness is our natural function. Anger is a corruption of it. Conclusion. Well, my delightful virtual companions, we have walked through 7 powerful strategies from the Stoic master Seneca. To recap, we must recognize anger's true cost, make tranquility our ultimate goal, use the cure of waiting, see ourselves in the offender, choose to heal rather than punish, reframe our judgments, and use the countermeasures of kindness and humor. These are not just clever ideas. They are a practical guide to reclaiming your inner peace. The journey to master your anger is a lifelong process. There will be times when you stumble, but with each moment you choose to pause, to reframe, to respond with wisdom instead of rage. You become stronger. You are realizing that you have the power to choose your response, and in that choice lies your freedom. Now, I've got a cheeky little challenge for you all. In the comments below, I'd love for you to share which of these 7 strategies resonated with you the most. Let's get this conversation started so we can all learn from each other. But wait, before you dive headfirst into the world armed with this newfound Stoic wisdom, I've got a small request. If you found even an ounce of value today, do consider giving this video a big thumbs up, subscribing, and ringing that notification bell. Not for the sake of vanity metrics, oh no, but so we can continue this dance of wisdom, sharing, and growth. Life's a journey, sprinkled with challenges, but with the right mindset and a dash of Stoic spice, it can be quite the delightful adventure. Until our next digital rendezvous, Keep the fire of curiosity burning and the spirit of Stoicism alive.